have it all. I can have it all.
Hello, everybody. This is Christy Whitman with the Quantum Success Show, where you can get your information and inspiration to create your desires. And as you can see, I have a friend. I'm going to introduce Eva in a minute, but I heard someone say once that when someone is your coach or your mentor, they're always your coach and your mentor. And Eva was actually the one that many, many moons ago certified me to be a certified law of attraction coach. So Eva has always been my mentor and a wonderful teacher to me. So I'm thrilled to introduce her to all of you. So Eva, I'll get right into your official bio and then we can just start chatting. So, so Eva is known as America's Divine Guidance Coach and mentor to spiritual entrepreneurs. She is a master coach, speaker, and author of several books and programs, including the Feel Good Guide to Prosperity, Money Mindset Breakthrough, and Inner Guidance for Business Success. Her passion is teaching spiritual entrepreneurs how to tap into their own inner guidance and merge it with the practical steps to create healthy, sustainable businesses from a place of purpose, passion, and prosperity. Amen.
Hallelujah, pass the collection plate.
She is regularly featured on radio and in the media, and she's also a recognized authority on the law of attraction and has instructed thousands on how to create a life deliberately using law of attraction. And she has her own radio show. She's interviewed some of the most influential thought leaders today and has the honor of sharing the virtual stages with many speakers, including myself, Donald Neale Walsch, Jack Canfield, Morrissey, John Assaraf, Marci Shimoff, among many others. I think I've had all of them on my show. So her latest book, Life Lessons for Mastering the Law of Attraction, co-authored with Jack Canfield, can be found in bookstores everywhere. So Eva, I'm so excited that you're here.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. I have such a soft place in my heart for you because, way back in the day, you were the one that certified me. And you really are one of those really rare people that in this industry walks your talk and you talk your walk. And you just practice what you preach. You preach what you practice. And I've always had just such an affinity for you for that, because I remember when I was starting the QSCA and I came to you and I said, I really want to start a certification program and include, the 7 essential laws. You gave me a thumbs up and you were like, go for it. Never looked at me as like it would be competition for you. That doesn't even hit your realm. It's amazing. And you've actually promoted, and referred people to the QSCA when you stopped certifying people.
Absolutely. So, man, I was like, yes, blessings, child.
And it has rained upon me. So thank you very much. So I'm going to ask you about this. Have there ever been a time, I know that for myself as a business owner, there's times where you have ebb and flow. I don't care what business you're in. There's more ebb, meaning less money comes in, and then there's flow or more success, more prosperity, more comes in. Has there ever been a time for you when your business was in a hard place or experiencing contrast or in an ebb, kind of in a maybe even desperate situation where you doubted things would ever turn around?
Oh my goodness. That would be yes. It's happened more than once, And so that's why I think it's so important that you're sharing that there is an ebb and flow. But once you understand that there's an ebb and flow, then you can plan for that. So the ebbs, they just aren't, they don't become crisis, right?
Yeah.
And the first time this happened for me was many, many years ago in another lifetime when the software company that Robin, my mate, and I had, we were struggling to the point where we were laying off people left and right. We couldn't meet payroll for those that were left. I mean, we'd been struggling for about 5 years at the time, and we were trying to find backers and venture capital for this awesome software program we had. And yet it wasn't happening. And this was about the time I stumbled across this universal principle called the law of attraction. And even though I'd been studying metaphysics for many, many years before that, I didn't really get it. I understand it kind of intellectually, but I didn't know how to apply it in my life until I ran across the Abraham Hicks website. And that was when, the light bulb came on, the fireworks went off, and I went, oh my God, this is it.
Yeah.
And then I looked at what we'd been doing for 5 years in the company. It was like, my God, morale was so low. We weren't paying ourselves so we could pay our employees. We had creditors after us personally. We had creditors after us in the business. Our tension was high. And where was my focus? It was on exactly what I didn't want. And I was taking that into the company, and it was a trickle down effect to everybody, of course.
Of course.
And so what did I not want? I like, what if we can't make payroll? What if we get evicted? What if I can't pay all of that stuff? And I was taking that into the company. And, for me, it's like your thoughts are the engine and your emotions are the fuel that is creating whatever you're getting in your life. And so, of course, what with the thoughts I was having, they were not very pretty at all. And every single one of us in the company were doing it. And so once I understood law of attraction, I decided, okay, I'm going to prove this stuff works. I knew in my heart of my heart that this works, and it doesn't matter where we've been or what we've been struggling with up to that point. And so one of those nights at 3 a.m. when everything is just so worse than worse, right? I got this message that said, Eva, you do know law of attraction. You're not walking your talk, and take the understanding of law of attraction into that company tomorrow to shift the energy starting with you. So I'm like, wow. Now, I felt like, we tried everything else. So I felt like I had nothing to lose by doing that, except worrying about people thinking I'm crazy. And I was beyond that at that point. And so I did. And I took this company-wide game with a huge spreadsheet. We called it our prosperity account. And we started out on day one depositing $10,000 in the imaginary account. And every day, folks in the company would post on the spreadsheet what they would spend that $10,000 for that day on. And then we would post each day. So 10,000 that day, 11,000 the next day, 12,000. So it was always $1,000 more each day. And the interesting thing that happened is it did shift our energy. And by the way, the reason for doing this wasn't to bring in money. It was to shift our energy. Very key point.
Yes.
Because if you don't shift for 5 years, we hadn't shifted our energy, and all the action in the world hadn't been helping us. So that was it. And the energy did shift, and people started being nice with each other, and marketing was spending money on the sales team, and sales was purchasing new computers for the programming department. And, and so it was like everything, for the moment that we started focusing on that, shifted everything. And the whole point of the game was to get our focus on something that felt better than where it had been for a very long time. And it literally shifted the energy, that emotional charge we'd been carrying around. And what I learned from all of this was that the universe does not know if you're focused on something real or imaginary, but it picks up on the essence of what you're focused on and how you feel, that emotional charge. And that is what it's going to give you more of. And so that whole prosperity account shifted our energy. It showed us that no matter what we did today, there was more in the account the next day, even if it was in this imaginary account. If you were to play that game for a full year, you would have spent in your mind over $66 million. And when your focus is there, even if it's imaginary, it's going to stretch your wealth mentality until you do literally start to attract more of that in your life than you have previously, no matter how bad it's been, no matter how long it's been that way. Yeah. And within 9 months of us beginning that process, someone we'd never heard of approached us to buy out our company lock, stock, and barrel. And we literally went from living sometimes no paycheck to no paycheck to successfully selling that company for a very hefty sum of money. And the day that the company legally changed hands, we were in the Grenadine Islands on a 42-foot catamaran island hopping with friends.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was one of the most transformational turning points in my life. And it was a combination of law of attraction and my guidance. And it was the key was to really listen to that guidance and trust that guidance, because a lot of times people are getting guidance. Either they don't recognize it, they don't trust it, and then they don't act on it.
What do you see? A lot of people may think they know what an inner guidance is, or they try to work with it. What do you see really hinders people from really accessing and working with their inner guidance?
Yeah, I see 3 main areas that this happens, and this is what I work so hard with my clients on, right, is really getting them over this. One is, and this is where I was, both of us were in the company, is we were in our heads. We were leading from our head space. We weren't feeling into what was going on. We weren't going in our heart space. We were so busy trying to solve the problems of that company and doing, even having consultants come in. Everything we did wasn't working because we were into trying, but from a place of it's not working, I need to do something else, without shifting our energy first, without understanding, hey, first it starts here with us. And when I finally listened that night to my guidance and then trusted to take that process into the company, clearly it paid off in a very big way. So that's the first thing I would say is, are you in your head space or are you in your heart space? And what I tell my clients is, look, just imagine this rope ladder, drop it from your head into your heart, and then climb down into your heart.
That's beautiful.
And lead from there. And guidance comes from there. And a lot of times the guidance is coming and then we want to override it with our head. I was like, get back down in your heart. Back down. That's the first thing. The second thing is, a lot of times people are asking for help, but they have an idea that it has to look a certain way. And so when it's coming, they don't see it when it's right in front of me or them. I didn't see it in front of me for a long, long time. And I always share the story. It's an old joke, about the flood in California, and the flood's rising and a guy's on the stoop of his house and another guy comes by and says, get in my truck and I'll save you. And he says, I'll wait for God to save me. And of course, the floodwaters rise. He's now on the second floor of his house and a motorboat comes by and tells the guy to get in. I've come to rescue you. And the man says, no, thanks. I've got faith in God. I'll wait for God to save me. And of course, now he's on his roof and the helicopter is lowering a rope and the pilot's shouting down for him to climb up the rope. And the guy wouldn't get in. And he said, I've got faith in God to rescue me. And of course, he eventually drowned. And here he is in front of God. And he says, where did I go wrong? I had perfect faith in you and you let me drown. And God says, what more do you want from me? I sent you a truck. I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter. I just really want to challenge anyone who is watching this to look at, where are you struggling in your own life that maybe you're being guided to something that's right in front of you, but you're so fixed on your solution having to look a certain way that you're missing it. That's a huge one. And then, of course, the biggest one is you're listening, but you're not trusting.
Huge.
It's so huge. And it's something that throughout all of the work that I do when I'm teaching people how to access their guidance, this is the one thread that's the foundation of everything we do throughout it all, because this is the one where you're not trusting. I have a client, it's been a few years now, but she had grown her company to 7 figures. And she decided to bring in a partner into the business, and she did her due diligence. She hired her attorney. She drew up her letters of intent. She did all her background research. She did everything she was supposed to do, and she did take that partner on. When we were working together, she said, the whole time I did that, I had this sick feeling. I had this nagging feeling in the back of my mind. Something wasn't right, but when I looked at everything I was doing, it said, yeah, bring her on. So she wasn't trusting her guidance that was saying, pay attention here. All the practical things you can do, still sometimes there's something beyond that or below it. And when she got ready to sell her business due to some really underhanded actions of her business partner, that company was worthless. So the valuation had been driven into the ground. And so as we worked together, of course, she said, now I can see that if I had just spent 10 minutes taking in what you have now taught me, she said it could have been a 7-figure success story instead of a 7-figure mistake.
Wow.
And so it's a painful story. And this is where you really have to allow your heart to override your head, because I'll tell you, even after that, she wanted to sue that business partner. And her guidance said, take the energy that you have all wrapped up in this business partner and put it on what you want and the success of your business. And she didn't sue her. Now, anybody from the outside looking in would say she's nuts for not doing that. But she did trust it. She's got a highly successful business today. So it takes guts. It takes a lot of courage sometimes.
Right.
When you're having to trust your guidance. But man, it is so worth it.
It always pays off.
So worth it.
Always pays off.
Oh my gosh. Never steers me wrong, but it can be scary sometimes. And that's where we do a lot of work on trusting that.
Yeah. I can think of many times in my business both ways, where it's like, oh, thank God I trusted my instinct. Or other times like, damn, I should trust my
Exactly.
So yeah, it's it's easy not to trust, it's easy to stay stuck in that, I don't trust myself. I don't trust, it's easier because that's what I think most people feel. So that whole process of trusting, how do you do it? How do you open up to that? What is real? How do I know, how do I trust myself to know if that's my inner guidance? I mean, there's just so much there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about mindset for a moment, because that is huge and important.
Yeah.
You actually have a mindset mastery formula that you teach. So
I do.
Share that with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. This is the thing that I say is over 90% of your success comes from two things. It's your inner guidance and your mindset. So it's those two elements together that will transform your life and your business. It's exactly what transformed mine. So if we look at mindset from the perspective of law of attraction, so the formula is thought plus emotional charge plus action equals outcome. So thought plus emotional charge plus action equals outcome. So if we look at it as from law of attraction, like we have a thought or a belief, and then that thought or that belief creates that emotional charge or that feeling that we have within us. How you're feeling emotionally determines the action you take or don't take, resulting in a certain outcome.
Yes.
So thought plus emotional charge plus action equals outcome. And it's so important to get this, because if you think about it, if you have a thought like, oh my God, what if I don't succeed? What if I fail? And all those conversations I was having in my head back in the software company. The emotional charge you have is what? It's one of fear. You're feeling scared. And so the only actions you will take will come from a place of fear. And you're going to reflect that fear. And because you're afraid, you'll procrastinate. You won't see opportunities even when they're in front of you. And as a result, even when something is in front of you, you will miss it, or you won't trust it. And then your mission and your message doesn't get out in the world in a really big way. And so as a result of your mindset, even when you're being guided, you hold back and you play small and you get small results. And that's why it's so important that mindset and inner guidance goes together. And mindset, by the way, is a really big factor when it comes to that trust that we were talking about. Because without that, you're not even paying attention to your guidance. And all the guidance in the world is useless if that's the case.
Well, Eva, I want to say this too, because people, like in the expert way, in the fact that we're coaches, they think, well, she's got it down. She never has any fear. She never feels this way. And I'm like, human being.
Hello. No kidding.
So I think I just want to bring that to light, because
so important.
Yes, you've mastered, you've got a process, but you still, I still.
Every day. This is a work in progress for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
And I say it all the time. If anybody says, hey, once you got your mindset down and you've got law of attraction or even inner guidance, and somebody says, now your life will just be nirvana evermore. And I'm saying,
run.
It's not true, because we are human beings and we do have our foibles. The beauty of it is, once we understand this, then we can shift more quickly.
Yes.
We have the tools and the processes, and the quality of our lives are so much better. But there is always going to be something that's going to be in your way. So just expect that and just welcome it rather than resist it, because you'll have everything you need to know what to do to shift all that stuff. It's not fun. It's not. Yeah. But man, I wouldn't trade the understanding now for anything.
Because what used to bring me down for probably weeks, maybe months, now I can go, all right, I'm agitated today. I'm getting mad at everyone and everything, the dog, everybody. It's like, that's not about them. It's about me inside. What are my tools? How can I shift? And that's why it's important, because the longer I stay in that, I'm going to attract more of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So why waste our time? Have the tools, the awareness, but understand that don't expect yourself to be perfect. I did that too. I do a law of attraction.
Yeah.
Might be delayed.
It's great, because in my program and stuff, I'm always using myself as an example. They say, oh, it feels so good to know you're not perfect. I said, honey, I can't even imagine trying to live up to that.
No.
I don't even want to.
So I know you have a gift to give everybody, Eva.
Yes.
Can you tell us what the gift is?
Yeah, so what I would love to give you is the layout and the whole mindset mastery formula, because it is really so powerful. And in that, it'll walk you through the process, and it'll also help show you how to use it. And then I also have a little, like, what happens when you are in those down places? What is a process you can use to start shifting yourself out of that? So that's also part of what they're getting in this little gift.
Beautiful. So thank you for that. I always appreciate when a guest comes on the show and gives tons of value, which you've totally given, and then also invites them to learn further and go further and gives them more value. So thank you for that, Eva.
My pleasure.
All of you, go right below the video. There's a link there. You just click it and you can go over to Eva's page and put in your information, and then you will get the mindset mapping, right?
Mindset mastery formula.
That is what you're getting. It is a wonderful tool. When you can put these tools in your tool shed, when you have those moments of, oh my God, I'm feeling fear. I don't know why I'm feeling fear. What's this fear about? You've got tools to be able to process and then release the fear so that you can move on and attract the things that you want and less the things that you don't want.
Yes.
So, awesome. Thank you so much. I am forever grateful to you and for you. And I know that anybody that comes and works with you and learns from your processes, they're definitely going to be shifted and expanded in so many different ways. So thank you, Eva.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. And for all of you, leave us a comment. Eva and I would love to know, what are you taking away from this? What new awareness did you have? Oprah calls it aha moment. What did you take away that shifted you in this moment? It could be that Eva and I are human beings and that we actually have fear, or doubts or whatever it is. Share with us. We want to know. That's how we continue the conversation. So have a wonderful week, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Bye. Thanks for watching, and here is a related video to watch right now. Also, check out my free webinars on creating whatever you want in your life using the universal laws that I explain in each webinar. So share your thoughts by leaving a comment and continue the conversation at ChristyWhitman.com.